Now, today marks the 23rd anniversary of the death of the winner of June 12, 1993 presidential election, Chief MKO Abiola. Abiola, who died in a controversial circumstances on the 7th of July, 1998, while seeking revalidation of his mandate, is celebrated today as a pillar of democracy in Nigeria. In this report, TVC News senior political correspondent Ayodele Ozugbakun revisits the life and time of the late business mogul.
We fight for peace, and we will get peace. But you see, we do not want the peace of a graveyard, a peace whereby somebody continues to ride on the rest of us with a gun.
Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola can be described as Nigeria's sacrificial lamb who fought for peace and democracy he never lived to enjoy. Born on the 24th of August 1937, Abiola died on the 7th of July 1998 in military detention. The name MKO Abiola is synonymous with two things in Nigeria: business and philanthropy. At the time of his death, Abiola was conferred with 197 traditional titles. In 1993, he stepped into another terrain in his quest to serve the people better: politics, which eventually claimed his life.
It all depends on a lot of things. I haven't been taking part in this political process since it started in 1987. You need to know the people you are working with, and you need to know that a tree does not make a forest. Like I said, nobody claps with only one hand.
Abiola contested for the 1993 presidential primaries under the Social Democratic Party (SDP) and defeated Babagana Kingibe to secure the party's ticket. He later picked Kingibe as his running mate for the presidential election.
MKO, 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 action! Abiola, 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 progress! Now he be the hope for better tomorrow.
Then came the D-Day, June 12, 1993. Professor Humphrey Nwosu's National Electoral Commission conducted a presidential election that is still regarded as the most peaceful and transparent in the history of Nigeria. The open ballot system, otherwise known as option A4, used for the 1993 presidential election meant that the results were immediately after the election. 15. Abiola is believed to have won 19 out of 30 states of the Federation, including some states which were rather inconceivable for a southerner. His landslide victory in Kano was a testimony of how he was a bridge builder across the length and breadth of Nigeria. Then the unthinkable happened. That was the beginning of Abiola's struggle, the struggle to reclaim his mandates, the struggle that will eventually claim his life.
It is true that the presidential election,
the then president, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, was forced to step aside in the tension that enveloped the country after the annulment of the June 12 election. But instead of handing over to Abiola, Babangida handed over to an unelected man from his hometown, Chief Ernest Shonekon.
Thank you very much.
MKO traveled to some world capital to seek support for his mandates. At the inauguration of President Nelson Mandela in South Africa, Abiola sat at the seat reserved for Nigeria's head of state. On his return to Nigeria, he made the Ekpetodo Declaration and called himself the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
In his affidavit to the Court of Appeal in Kaduna, NEC said the results were already unknown. I won.
He was subsequently arrested at his Ikeja residence on the 23rd of June 1994 by the then head of state, General Sani Abacha, for treason.
They are arresting me on an allegation of felony, namely treason or something like that.
This regime will be firm, humane and decisive. We will not condone nor tolerate any act of indiscipline. Any attempt to test our will be decisively dealt with.
General Sani Abacha, in various pronouncements, has already convicted Bashorun MKO Abiola before the trial starts. There were 2 instances where he came onto the air and said Bashorun MKO Abiola has committed treason, and the case is still pending in the courts.
Then Nigeria slid into one of its darkest periods in its history. There were mass arrests and assassinations, especially those perceived to be in support of Abiola's mandate. Most alarming of these incidents was the murder of MKO's wife, Kudirat Abiola, in June 1996, and several attempts on the life of Yoruba leader, Chief Ibrahim Adesoya.
We realized that for 4 years, this man, because he would not betray the people of my country, has been caused to undergo such inhuman treatment and such cruel experience. His wife was killed, my mother was killed, and has given an article informing him of my mother's assassination and all these other things that the military has caused on him. It's just, I can't even conceive of it now that it's nearly over. I really hope it is nearly over for my father and for my country.
MKO Abiola was pressurized severally by the Abacha regime to renounce his mandate for his freedom. He was also offered to be paid for all his election expenses, but he rejected all in a bid to force him to abandon the June 12 struggle, but he never did. Abiola was reported to have collapsed and died during a meeting with a United States delegation led by Ambassador Thomas Pickering after he drank a cup of tea. The death of MKO Abiola on the 7th of July 1998 at the age of 60 was the breaking news in virtually all international news channels across the world. He succeeded in discrediting military rule in Nigeria, a burden too heavy for the military to carry, hence the quick return to democracy in 1999. 23 years after laying the foundation for Nigeria's new democracy with his blood, MKO Abiola is still referred to by many as Nigeria president that never ruled.
On behalf of the federal government.
On the 6th of June 2018, President Muhammadu Buhari posthumously conferred MKO Abiola the highest honor of the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, GCFR, and declared June 12 Democracy Day.
I tender the nation's apology to the family of late MKO Abiola.
On behalf of our family, we accept not just the award and the apology, but we'd like to thank you for the great honor you have done to our father.
The National Stadium in Abuja was also named after him. Ayodele Osubakun, TVC News, Lagos.